Hello and welcome back. I'm trying to find out the gap between myself, a casual gamer, and some of the best players in a series of racing games. So far in F1 2019, the gap is over 6 seconds. In Gran Turismo Sport, the average gap is over 4 seconds. The chances of me becoming a professional esports racing driver, bleak. Today I'm trying another racing game, and it's one that I had not played before coming to make this video. I'll be playing it for the first time on camera. And anyone who's watched my videos before will know that that is not the way I should be doing things. I should be practicing a lot before even thinking about putting it on the internet. But here we are. Today I'm going to be trying Project Cars 2 for the first time. So once again, working out the gap between me and the best in seconds, and of course doing some races as well. In fact, one of my favourite races that I've done so far is in this video. It's at the Red Bull Ring. The last lap is eventful, to say the least. Let's get into it. My name's Ash. This is The Outside Line. So I had a little look around the menus first before jumping in the car, and there was something I noticed straight away. I'm a big fan of this track list. Not just the kind of sheer breadth and depth of the of all the tracks. There's some F1 tracks on there, there's ovals, there's obviously karting tracks and rallycross. The thing I like about it the most is the amount of British tracks on. Not just your Silverstones or your Brands Hatches, which are on lots of other games, but like touring car tracks. Knockhill, Snetterton, Alton Park. Donington Park is one of my all-time faves. Basically, one of the first driving games I think we had for the PlayStation was Toka 2, so I'm a big fan of the old school touring car vibes. I also got good vibes off the career mode. I'm just a big fan of this structure of career mode because you've got so many different disciplines in the game and you've got to play your way through, and you can take your own route and then unlock like the top tiers. I am thinking about doing a separate Let's Play career mode for that. That should be fun, so we'll come back to that. But the plan for now, so while doing some races on the side, I'll be setting my times in time trial. Like Gran Turismo Sport, there are lots of classes in the game, so I'll be doing a few different times to get an average. However, the leaderboards aren't ideal on this, so here I'm picking a GT3 car, but it only gives me the top GT1 times, and on vehicle record and class record, it still just gives me the top GT1 time, so I'm left throughout the game with just the very fastest cars. So, while it's not every individual class of car, I've got major groups, so I'll do V8 Supercar, LMP1, GT1, Formula X, since I wanted to do an Indy car, but we'll start, rightly or wrongly, with the V8 Supercar. And my track of choice, somewhere I'm familiar with and won recently, albeit on a different game, the Nurburgring GP track. Now, setup is a big part of Project Cars 2. That all looks... Which poses a bit of a problem for me. Yeah, that is another area I'm lacking on. I don't know what to do with any of that. So, with a very rudimentary setup, which was a combination of stealing the best time setup and using the race engineer tutorial, I went out. In terms of game settings, I researched online what the live events and online official event settings were, and the wording between everything was quite inconsistent, but I followed it as best I could. The main one was force realistic driving aids, which means if you have traction control and ABS on the car in real life, you get it in game and they're adjustable. And as you can see from these early efforts, this car definitely does not have traction control. It also doesn't have ABS, so that force realistic driving aids means nothing in the V8 Supercar. Which poses a bit of a problem for me, because when you're learning to drive the car, you're not driving the track to its full potential. So here, that chicane, I should be trying to straighten the angle out of that as much as possible. Instead, I'm squirming wide, I'm taking my time. So as I'm learning the car, I'm not attacking the track, and the times show that. So we are now... Okay. Mini target accomplished. We are now under 10 seconds away. Ooh. Stay tuned to see me take on the world. Here's me thinking, oh, I'll start with V8. Here's me. I'll start with a V8 supercar. It's basically a touring car. I'll be fine, right? That's not the time I'm going to live with. I just want to try another class. But before that, let's go racing. We are in GT3 cars. We're at Hockenheim. I'm in the Porsche. Let's go. So, qualifying first up. My strategy for qualifying, other than go fast, was pretty much spot on. So I'm about to set a fast lap with just seconds to go in the session, which means I can set a decent time and have another run. This time puts me second, just a few tenths away from pole, and I get another crack at it as well. So I'm thinking, right, we're in a pole fight. By the time I get round towards the end of the lap, I'm 2.5 seconds away. Everyone's improved. I then ruin my final lap here. Yes, for that split second, all 4 wheels left the track and invalidated my time. So we end up 4th on the grid. Lights out and away everyone else goes apart from me. It's a terrible grid start. Need to look at my setup for that. And then we've got someone in the Nissan up the inside. I don't see them, so I basically hit them and go out wide. No complaints there, that's my bad. But everyone's away okay. So 5th, coming down to the second corner. Happy to be there because looking behind me, absolute carnage. So, small blessings. Now it's the run up to the hairpin. Usually a hot spot for chaos on this track, regardless of the game. I miss my braking point. Keep an eye on 4th place. He misses his. The Nissan punts someone off. That's the Ferrari going off there. 2nd place bins it, and then race controllers clearly ordered the Nissan to give the place back, so he slows down, tucks in, and then we're on the back of them. So, not a bad recovery. We're at least back to where we started in 4th. And even though that Nissan got the jump on me at the start, it's clear they are not the most confident, so we think, settle in, maybe we can get back past them as we enter the stadium section. This guy then makes it quite easy for me. He brakes once but then accelerates way too early. Speed carries him wide and we go up into 3rd. Come round the next corner and the Ferrari's pinned it. I've said it before, you can keep your head while everyone else loses theirs. Well, and I've not said that before, I'm pretty sure that's from a poem. Anyway, doesn't matter. I've not bottled it, I am second. Not bad. Now, the Nissan is in my rearview mirror and I'm conscious that they are braking late a lot, so look at the way they close on me coming round the first corner. I am concerned at the next 2 corners that there is going to be some punting action, because again, he's a long way back and all of a sudden, that car gets a lot bigger. So he's very much braking late but sacrificing on exit speed, which means I can pull away. This is the crunch point now, it's the hairpin. He's a long way back. I'm thinking, surely he's not going to go for a move here. Surely not. However, he steps out and goes for it. But he goes across the curb to try and make the corner, which means, because all 4 wheels left the track, he's ordered to give the place back and has to tuck in behind me. So he doesn't even go for it. I don't think he even gets in front of me. He just doesn't accelerate out of the corner, and I hold station. And that is essentially my race. Managed to pull away from him about 4 seconds. 4 seconds away from the eventual winner. But for a first race on Project Cars 2, 2nd place is not bad going at all. Back in time trial land, I decided to have my first go in a Formula X car. Which went really well. No matter, just a quick restart and we'll be on our way. What? Why does it give me no wheel? Okay, a quick quit and restart, and then we're on our way. And can I just say, I'm not playing this stuff for laughs. I am actually trying to be genuinely good at it, and this is what keeps happening to me. It's pretty soul-destroying. Anyway, Formula X car, also no ABS, no traction control, but a shed load of downforce, so I kind of took to it a little better. And I'm mixing it with the Ghosts a lot more as well. The Ghosts I put on are the 1st, 10th, and the 30th best times in the world, so kicking it with them a bit more. So much so that at the end of the first stint I was the 79th best in the world, ignoring the fact that the time was still 10 seconds off the pace. If it was F1 2019 I wouldn't have even made the top 15,000, so expectations adjusted slightly. On to GT1 now, the first car that has any form of traction control and ABS. Again, 1st and 30th Ghosts, and I'm not too far away from them. Not too bad. Until that. Yeah, I don't know if this was the way I was driving it, or the setup I cobbled together, / stolen, but after about 4 laps, you can see in the bottom corner, the engine is red, the number's going up, and when it hits 100, there she blows. Would love to know if that's something I'm doing, or if that's just a general occurrence. Anyway, a quick way to fix it, I found, was you could stay in session and just pop into the pits. Yeah, we'll pop back to this. LMP1 was the final class to try. Again, a car with a lot of downforce, no ABS but adjustable traction control. Once I kind of got used to it, you've got to slow right down, probably go into like first with a lot of the slower corners in this car. Once I kind of got my head around that, I really enjoyed this, felt like I could attack the course a little bit more. Which, okay, not necessarily a good thing all the time. But as you can see, I've got the 1st and 30th best times up again as Ghosts, and I'm getting past 30th and looking ahead to 1st. Obviously I'm still a little bit shaky in places. If I can iron out those kinks, real good chance of putting in a good time here. Like I say, it's just my own little, shall we say, overzealousness. Wonder how the GT1 car's getting on. Yeah, I just restarted the game after doing that. What a waste of time. Now, another thing I discovered was the harshness of the track limits here. So, if you watch here, lap invalidated. Basically, as soon as all 4 wheels leave the track, even for a split second, you are done for. Which is generally the rule on track limits, but there's bigger margins for error in some places. Here, definitely not. Now, attacking that final chicane, well, here we've got a big chance to get past the 30th best time and set a great live absolute bottler. Okay, so it's been 2 weeks since I last did any to-camera stuff. In that time, I have been capturing my efforts in time trial. I have been capturing my efforts in races. My new glasses have come. And now we've come to a point where I'm going to set myself a deadline. So from this point, what I'm going to do is give myself 10 more attempts. Not laps, 10 more attempts, which means if I start a lap and I bin it going around the first hairpin, which I have done frequently, that's an attempt gone. So I might not improve on the times I've got now, but that's it. Time to lock them in, otherwise I could just keep going on forever trying to improve. Now, I was hoping to do a lot of the slower classes rather than just the top line ones, because I spend a lot of time, not just in Project Cars 2, but also because of Gran Turismo Sport in, say, GT3, GT4 cars. I scrolled through the leaderboard to find the fastest GT3 time, and after getting down to like over 600, I found it. It was set in a BMW M6. I've screenshotted it, made a note of it. I'm also going to do 10 attempts in the GT3 car to set a time there as well. So, starting with GT1, my logic here was start with a class that I actually enjoyed driving, to get into it, because even though I've been doing it for 2 weeks, it's been kind of on and off, and it had been a few days since I've touched the game, so I thought, right, let's get back into it with an enjoyable car, or at least one I enjoy to drive. But was that a mistake? It always takes me a little bit to get into it, and that's attempt 1. Now at that point I decided to remove the massive block of lap times on the left hand side using the customisable heads up display. Thought it'd just be a bit cleaner, a bit more space, less distractions. Now if you have a look at my throttle input, which is the green bar, look how stabby it is. Again, it goes in the same place! It's not smooth application at all. And I wonder why I'm spinning round. So bad that on there. Even in a car with traction control, and I don't seem to learn my lesson at all. Just like that, 3 attempts gone. Wasn't until the 5th lap that I actually got round and set a time, and it was not an improvement on my previous best. The engine in the bottom corner then started to blow up, so rather than watch that happen, I quickly restarted for my 2nd stint. 5 down, 5 to go. So far, done 1 lap time. Was not an improvement. It's not going well, and I've overshot, and Six attempts done, 4 to go. Yeah, I was starting to get frustrated, and more silly mistakes would follow as a result. So cheap track limits mess up, then just getting out of shape through a corner that I know how to take. Idiot. So, 2 laps to go. Real chance that I was not going to actually improve and only complete 1 lap. Now keep an eye on this right-hander we're about to take. I've been going on about how strict the track limits thing is. That was definitely all 4 wheels off the track. No penalising for that at all. Don't really think I gained anything though, so maybe that's the point. Anyway, 2nd half of the lap. Can we get round? Just easy onto it. Okay now. Clip too much of that inside curb, it sends you over the other one, and immediately you've got a track limit disqualification, but we're still there. That's okay. Getting there. Do not bin around this final corner, you idiot. Okay. Here we go, final lap. Oh, caught the curb. Ah. And that was that. Out of the 10 laps, only 2 were completed. Neither were an improvement on the time I had going in. I know what you're thinking, trying to do 10 laps isn't hard, but when I was trying to push myself, I just kept throwing it away, making silly mistakes. Ended up 63rd best in the world, 3.5 seconds away from the best, 1 class down, 4 to go. Let's finish with a race. This is the one I mentioned in my intro at the Red Bull Ring in Austria, with that interesting final lap. Here's qualifying. This is my best lap. I end up going 2nd, 1.3 seconds away from pole. Pole would improve to be about 1.5 away. I'd keep 2nd out of the 6 cars in the room. Only 5 make it to the start. 2nd ever grid start. And it's just as bad as the first. I think it's because I'm trying to do what you do in Gran Turismo Sport, where you hold it massive revs, neutral to first, maybe not the way. Now I get a big whack there going through turn 1, and as a result I get told to hand back 4th place. We will look at what happened there and why that is, but because I've slowed right down, I end up dropping right down to the back. So, recovery drive from the beginning, pretty much par for the course so far, and we go straight after the McLaren. Now, not sure if he gets a bad exit from that corner, but he just doesn't have straight line speed, which I thought the McLaren would have over the Porsche, but there we are, managed to out-drag them down to turn 3 to the point where they've just tucked in behind. 3rd place, then spins, goes round. So back into top 3 already, not too bad. Now, I didn't know this at the time, but if you see in the top left where the driver tower is, the 2 cars with DT on, DT stands for drive-through. So the leader will go in for a drive-through penalty, as will the McLaren behind me. So net 2nd place, not too bad at all. I just need to settle down and get stable, get on with it with a solid laps. Coming around the final 2 corners, big fan of this track. It's been in loads of driving games, most familiar with it from the F1 series, but it's simple, quick, good fun to drive, really like it. The leader has gone to serve his drive through, the McLaren behind hasn't, but now we are chasing a Porsche up front for the lead, see if we can reel them in. Right, let's go back to the race start, and I knew it was bad at the time. It looks even worse, like I don't even realise what green means. Now keep an eye on the black McLaren on the right hand side. He comes across and careens into me, knocks me across that curb, and I think it's because I cut the corner because of that I got asked to give the position back. I'm not fully sure why he got the drive through. Did he cut somewhere else? Was it the hit? I've got to say, I was ahead. He didn't see me. I don't think it was intentional. I just think it's a lack of awareness on his part. This is what happened to the leader for their drive-through. Massive track limit breach. Now in Gran Turismo Sport that is all perfectly fine. Not in Project Cars 2. You cannot get away with that sort of thing. Rejoin at lap 3 where we watch the leader do the exact same thing. Now I've already started to reel the leader in, as you can see, much closer compared to when we left the action. And now, because they're going to be asked to slow down from that track limit penalty, we are going to get right on the back of them. And all of a sudden, we have a shot at maybe a first Project Cars 2 win. Porsche versus Porsche as well. We are out there alone. The McLaren went to serve his drive-through. So there's a decent gap of over 10 seconds back to the cars behind. So we are on our own and fighting for the win. Now he gets a little bit wide on the exit there, but I'm not panicking just yet. Because I've been generally quicker, I think, you know what? I can bide my time and pick my moment. This was the corner I kind of picked out. I thought, this is where I'm probably going to do it. Verstappen versus Leclerc, right here. Now he nearly loses it coming out the exit, that corner, because it's quite uneven there. Got to be careful when you get on the throttle. It'd be silly to bin it there. Coming down to turn 3 on the brakes, he squirms wide and there's a chance there, and just don't get my foot on the throttle soon enough. Really frustrating. I just think the door was open there, should have got alongside. Didn't panic though, because as we start lap 5 I thought, you know what, there are chances to be had. Round turn 1. He runs wide, all 4 wheels off the track, just a little. Now I don't know if he gets made to slow down, but at the very least I am tucked in the slipstream and I've decided early I'm going for this. Step out, can we outbrake him? Yes we do, up the inside, and we are through into the lead. And we've binned it. Absolutely perfect. That was textbook right up until I threw it away, and I'm now over 2 seconds from him with about a lap and a half to go. Unbelievable. So here's the move. Get it done perfectly, to be fair. Outbrake him. up the inside, but like I said before, the exit of the corner is a bit bumpy, and as you can see better from this angle, I don't get the car fully straight before trying to get on the throttle. Back end steps out, and we lose out. That should have been the lead. As we start lap 6 though, I have brought it down a little bit. He runs wide again at turn 1, however, I do the exact same thing. Just like I said, that's not going to fly in Project Cars 2, so we have to both slow down. So a chance to gain some time there missed out on. Gap of about a second. All I can do is stay nearby in case he makes a mistake. That's all I'm hoping for, because I'm not going to suddenly catch him up that quickly. Although I have pulled back a second in just shy of a lap, so maybe, we'll see. Into turn 3. And he squirms wide. Typically, so do I. Second time this lap, there's a chance to close the gap up to him, and I've wasted it. Think he's going to get away with the win. But all of a sudden, he's on the grass, so he comes across to try and cut me off. We make a little bit of contact, but I hold on. He looks at nipping up the inside, but thinks against it. Now I have got to defend for just a few corners to win. Then I get caught on the curb, don't go off, but I am compromised on speed, so I decide, right, I'm going defensive early. It's up to him to choose where to go next. Look like I'm going to make the corner. Punted off. Absolutely devastated. And then I get a race director warning for driving standards. That's a joke. Now I have no idea what happens here. I'm just driving straight towards the line, and then out of nowhere, it just fishtails, and I crash, and I'm stuck in 5th gear as 3rd place comes bearing down. I immediately panic, change up to 6th gear, quickly change down, scamper for the line. Yeah, I think there was some contact there actually, a little bit. What a way to hang on to 2nd place, eh? Well, here's the last section of that lap again. So as I get round him, obviously I mess up the exit of this corner, and he's got the speed on me, so I, like I say, decide early, go defensive. And I think his problem is he doesn't fully decide what he's going to do, so in the end goes in too fast and just takes me out. Doesn't even make the corner. Let's have a look at it from his perspective. So first of all, his initial incident. Gets on the curb, accelerates, spins out. Not going to criticise that too much, I've done it plenty of times. It's just something we should all stop doing. Now, he goes for exit speed out of this anyway, so he's got a better run, despite what I do, so he's definitely got the upper hand. For me, he should have gone back to the racing line and taken the corner normally, because I've had to sacrifice so much speed because of the angle I've gone in. He could have easily just driven up that gaping hole at the inside. Instead, too quickly, with a narrow angle, because he's basically following my defensive line through the corner. And how he's not picked up a penalty for this, he basically takes the final corner like it's Parabolica at Monza, like a massive arc. So considering how strict the game has been elsewhere, how he gets nothing for that is beyond me. In fairness, I should have done the job properly rather than complain for a penalty. Should have won on merit, and lucky to even keep 2nd place. I think he was angry at his drive-through penalty from earlier. Only 3 finish of the 6 that started, but 2 races and 2 podiums, 2 2nd places on Project Cars 2. Not too bad. And I'm going to leave it there for today. Next time I have my final 10 attempts in the remaining 4 classes to work out what the average pace gap is between me and the best players in Project Cars 2. Also, more races as well. I take out the GT3 Aston Martin for a few races. I'm supposed to be a big Aston Martin fan. I've barely driven in them yet, so let's fix that. And I accidentally end up racing a Ferrari at Monza. So, no pressure there. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please do like, subscribe, comment, all that stuff. There will be another video over there somewhere, and hopefully I will see you next time. Thanks very much for watching. Cheers.